All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for real people just like you and just like me. All right, let's do a little promotion here. The Frost Duo, very attractive couple here, and this is called Play Nice West Coast music for those who don't want to have their ears bled out completely. It just Christian Gratz and Leah Beth Evans, just fantastic, nice people too, really great people, and somewhat affiliated. Page 99 for imagination's sake, featuring Bill Champlin. Bill bleeping Champlin. Okay, you get Bill Champlin on your record, you're having a good day. Bill called and he said he'll sing on the record. So page 99, really superb West Coast material, doing that Toto, Steely Dan, Chicago kind of thing. And it works because the material is that good. Speaking of really good material, new material, John Waite, the guy who is supposedly a one-hit wonder, according to a very popular YouTube channel. Now, the algorithm did a couple of things for me here. It directed me to this video about the top one-hit wonders of the 1980s. And right away, when someone says Kaja Gugu, Too Shy, is on their top 20 list, I go, okay, where's my firearm so I can just I don't own a gun, but it's an imaginary one. And, you know, I just do this, shoot myself in the head, and I go, Kaja Gugu? Really? And then on this list is Missing You by John Waite. So John Waite has a brand new song out that nobody's going to hear. Nobody's going to go and listen to it. Why? Because the music industry is kind of dead, if you haven't noticed. I mean, for geezers like me, you know, the only thing I can go and listen to is the same songs over and over again. And then I'm being told that Kaja Gugu, do I like Too Shy? Is it a good song? It's okay. It's so repetitive and it hasn't aged well at all. It just sounds goofy now. And it was goofy back then. And we thought to ourselves, okay, Kaja Gugu, yeah, whatever. You know, there are other things. How about Boy Meets Girl, Waiting for a Star to Fall? How about that one? Huh? How about you put that on the list, huh? Anyway, this guy, he's got like 10 billion subscribers, and he just goes up there and he's listening to the songs, he's bopping his head around. These songs are good. John Waite as a one-hit wonder. No, I'm sorry, no. Look, if you're going to do it on a technicality that John Waite had only one number one song during the 1980s as a solo artist, then okay. You discount his career prior, obviously, with the Babies. You're focusing on the 1980s, but the Babies kind of get in there, right? Right around 1980, they're kind of in there. So his voice is out there. And then there's this little band that comes along later called Bad English. All right. When I See You Smile. Number one song again for John Waite on lead vocals, but technically that's not John Waite solo. Now, I'm still going to be a stickler for details here because John Waite had other songs that entered the Billboard Top 100. In fact, he had a couple of songs that got into the top 40. A tune called Every Step of the Way. Go listen to it. It's an amazing song. There's another track off the same album where Missing You comes from. It's called Tears. I imagine it was a follow-up single, got to number 37. Didn't do all that well, but it's out there. And what I've noticed about John Waite fans is they really like his voice. In fact, you know, he was really big with Diane Warren on When I See You Smile. Diane Warren, a great epic songwriter, also wrote him a song called Don't Lose Any Sleep Tonight. And I believe Starship did a version of it. But the John Waite version is killer, and kind of got onto the top 100, definitely got onto rock radio, as did the song If Anybody Had a Heart. So if you go back in the 80s and you kind of do a little research about John Waite, you find out that he had a few songs, and some of those songs were pretty epic. They're pretty big tunes. And look, here's one thing I've kind of come to grips with about certain aspects of the music industry. I can't help it if somebody says, okay, the song didn't go to number 1, or it wasn't top 10, or it wasn't top 20. Foolish Heart by Steve Perry hit number 17. It's always on the radio. There are other songs that were top 20, top 30, that didn't do all that well. And then there are other songs that went to number 11, and you can't find them anywhere. They're not on playlists for whatever reason, and it's very arbitrary. There has to be a room where people are locked in there, right? And they're hooked up to electrodes, and somebody, sends the electricity, and they go, yeah, I really like this song, It's just really depressing how this is all working itself out. And people who are older, who have these channels, they should know better than to say, okay, I'm going to talk about Kaja Gugu on my channel and put that in there. And then I'm going to call John Waite a one-hit wonder, because the video is called, like the top 20 one-hit wonders. And look, the guy who runs his channel, he's really smart. He's 100 times smarter than I am about music itself, music theory, how to play guitar, what makes a song great, all of these topics that he covers. But I find it, I guess, what's the word I'm trying to use here? I find it disappointing that we are losing a lot of music history because we're so focused on what corporate media wants us to focus on. I mean, to focus on Kaja Gugu, it's just like, this isn't really a great, if you're taking samples to the moon of 80s music, oh yeah, I brought Kaja Gugu with me. Oh, and by the way, on the same list, we hear that I Ran by Flock of Seagulls was their only hit. That's it. I Ran. This is a great hook, great riff. Wishing I Had a Photograph of You, like that wasn't a hit song. That space age love song thing, that wasn't a big hit. I mean, they used to get played too, even kind of recently before the focus testing got even more narrow. And it's weird, as you get further away from this scene of the crime, which is the 1980s, you tend to get less and less variety. They're just squeezing you out, saying, look, this song didn't hit the top 10, it didn't hit the top 20 or the top 5. They just make these arbitrary decisions, and so the song goes bye-bye. And what happens is you miss a lot of great music by very talented people. In this case, John Waite, who recently turned 70 years old. And unlike other singers, and I'm not going to mention their name here, and again, we can talk about how it's not their fault, it's DNA, it's their lifestyle choices, it's, what they eat and drink, what they smoke, whatever, okay? Most singers haven't held up like John Waite. John Waite sounds almost the same, like so much so that it's not even noticeable. Like you go, oh, it's John Waite. Immediately you hear his voice and you go, he sounds amazing. So he's got this song out there called Anytime. He just released like 4 or 5 songs. It's like an EP. He came out with an album, I think, in 2010 or 2012 or something. And it was phenomenal from start to finish. It was brilliant. Great songwriting, great vocals, and could have been, should have been on a geezer music station, but apparently, again, because there's no creativity, there's no originality, they think people like to be bored. And you know, people come back and they say to me, Dave, I'm happy. I got my music. I'm good. Why are you giving me this new John Waite song? This is messing me up, man. I want to hear Missing You again. I mean, I was told that was a one-hit wonder. It's not. It's not a one-hit wonder. Have you ever heard the song These Times Are Hard for Lovers? John Waite. Go look it up. Every Step of the Way. Again, go look it up. These are hit songs. Now, again, you know, Dave, it just wasn't a high enough chart single to register. All right, I'm going to fall back on this. Is it a good song, though? Is it a good song? There are plenty of songs that didn't go flying up the charts that are really good songs that I think people would like to hear. And I would put Anytime, this brand new John Waite song, up there with any song he's ever released, including the aforementioned and completely overplayed and overhyped Missing You, which is an epic song. It's an amazing song. Is it better than When I See You Smile? Is it better than the material he did, like Back on My Feet Again with the Babies? Is it better than that? Shouldn't there be a little bit of everything there and not just one song over and over again? You have Bad English. By the way, Bad English had other chart singles as well. After Every Time, no, I'm thinking every Step of the Way, When I See You Smile. I'm getting confused here, but in any event, all of these, you know, instances where John Waite becomes a big deal, it's absolutely amazing because he is such a great performer, a great vocalist, and because of the way everything is now filtered through this lens of focus testing, and you know, we're just going to relegate him to the one-hit wonder pile. No, don't relegate John Waite there. Don't relegate Flock of Seagulls there. There are other examples of that, not only in this guy's top 20, but just in the way radio does their programming these days. You know, you could say Kansas is like a two-hit wonder, and I hear Carry On Wayward Son like a billion times. And the band, yes, on Billboard, that's where they were. But people grew up listening to different kinds of radio stations, rock stations that played Fight Fire with Fire and Play the Game Tonight and Hold On and other songs that you won't hear. Point of No Return. I mean, you can go down a list. You can come up with maybe 20. I could come up with 20 songs. There's a tune by Kansas called All I Wanted. And that was a top 40 song, by the way. That was when Steve Walsh came back to the band. And adult contemporary sounding, but still very Kansas-ish. I don't hear it. I don't hear it. And you should hear it. It's a brilliant song. Steve Walsh, one of the great voices of all time, as is John Waite. So, bottom line, go listen to Anytime. It is uploaded on a few platforms. It's an EP, so I'm thinking there probably isn't like a physical CD you can go out and buy for this. But holy crap, Batman, this is a really good song that deserves some love and attention. So again, that's just me going off, you know, and look, go check out the guy who I'm talking about, his top 20. He's the guy who tells you about what makes a song great. He's smarter than me. He's way smarter than me. But I'm not sure people understand that we're losing a lot of music by focusing on the same songs over and over again. I can do without Kaja Gugu, and I can do without the Buggles, because that's just it's cultural. And by the way, the Buggles, I'm not sure even how well they did on Top 40. Yeah, it was the first song MTV played, but did it chart? And how well did it chart? You know, look, it's easy to go through playlists. It's easy to go and look up online certain years and what was a one-hit wonder, and then compile a list of songs, not only that were one-hit wonders, but songs that weren't overexposed. Wish I Had a Girl That Walked Like That, Henry Lee Summer. Where did that go? Where's that one? That's not there. And technically, Henry Lee had a bunch of songs that were played on rock stations, but don't hear the song. No recognition of it. I think it was 89. It's not there. Anyway, here is, I'm really going off. Here is page 99 for imagination's sake. Go buy a copy of this. I'm thinking page99.com. I even have a t-shirt, so you can buy merch. And then Play Nice from my good friends, the Frost Duo. Really nice people. And by the way, politically normal, which is important to me. I want to shop where the people aren't regressive. Okay, I'll use that word. If they're regressive, then I tend to not want to help them out and support them. But if they're normal, I will go and say, hey, go ahead and buy this. All right. So I'm done. I'm running out of air. I appreciate the support on the channel. Continue to subscribe because I need those subscribers, and Patreon for $1 a month, $2 a month. And yeah, that's pretty much all I can ask for. So I'll see you soon, everybody.